Spooky-loo, another wonderful WrestleRoni for me and for you. I've been excited for this one. We got the Butcher of Bismarck heading in to the Tournament of Death, Tarp of Death Invitational. One and only Buddy Badcock on the show. How we feeling, Bubby?
Man, way better.
Yeah.
As we discussed before last week, I had like some kind of virus, man, and was just nonstop shitting. So, but I'm doing way better now, man.
I'm glad you are. I'm glad you are, because as we was discussing, that I'm where you were last week.
Yeah. Well, it's like there is a good outcome to it. It's like you get a little bit lighter, so there's more pep in your step. When you do get over it, So it's like you just move a little bit different. You're not as like locked up. Your hips are moving good. So you just shit until you have mobility.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm in the shitting process right now. I'm looking forward to the mobility and feeling like... You was telling me you lost some weight. Tell the folks at home how much weight you lose.
Yeah, I lost like 20 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy. I didn't eat for probably 4 days, and then every time I ate something, it was like immediately just digested and just went straight through me. It was wild.
It's terrible. It is terrible. But here we are. I still came through. I'm still doing the podcast. I'm not to pat my own back, but hey, it's not like I'm heading into a big Tournament of Death 22 with CZW. I'm excited for you, man. Tell me about when you heard the news. How we feeling?
Man, I honestly didn't expect a reply back. It's like I'm from Arkansas, so like Arkansas is kind of a weird place because there's a lot of talent here, and I'm not talking about just wrestling. Like in general, it's like there's great music that comes out of here. There's art. There's all kinds of things, and so we kind of get overlooked, because I think a lot of the way people look at us has to do with the show Beverly Hillbillies, because everybody's like it's like dumb, idiot, like redneck people, which there is tons of that. Don't get me wrong, but So I just didn't expect DJ Hyde to hit me back up, and so when I found out I was doing that, I was blown the fuck away, and so it came up so quick. So I kind of had to get some resources together because I'm like, dude, this is a 17-hour drive. Like this is going to be fucking wild. So,
okay.
But I'm super excited, man. It's a big opportunity. I just one of my main things is, like I said, I want to represent Arkansas as much as I can when I get it, get up there. And there's a couple guys on the show that I've worked, both the Tarp of Death and also the actual Tournament of Death. So it'll be really cool to go up there and see everybody again.
To the uninitiated, what do you think folks can expect from a Tarp of Death scramble?
Oh my man, pure brutality. I mean, I work in ways most people don't. I mean, everybody kind of has their own brand of violence, but mine's sheer just utter violence. Like I'm trying to like remove your head. I could give a fuck about a belt. Like I collect heads. That's what I want.
Hell yeah.
I want to be standing on top of a pile of bodies with each head like tied in a bundle. I want to hold it up to show everybody like everybody's head and like just take that back with me. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, that's interesting because I've talked to you setting up this podcast a little bit before the podcast. You seem like a nice, reasonable human. How do you flip that switch to where we're taking off heads?
Well, you have to like the competitor in me is way different. I come from a Brazilian jiu-jitsu background.
Nice.
Trained boxing and kickboxing and some judo. Catch as catch can wrestling. So I am normally a pretty chill dude, but when I get in the mode to compete, like I switch that on and it's game time. Like I'm there to destroy. Like that's pure mayhem the whole time.
I love it. Okay. Well, we was talking before the pod. It sounds like you kind of had an on again, off again relationship with wrestling. Tell me about getting into it. Why you took some time away, getting back into it. Just take me down that process.
Well, when I was a kid, of course I watched WWF, so like Attitude Era was my time period. I don't know how many times I was in the principal's office for telling people to suck it or, just like I actually got in trouble waiting in the line to get picked up as a car rider for doing Suck It. And then they had me in detention all the time. Well, then I just got out of the principal's office. They sent me to football practice, and this kid was talking shit. And I told him that he had the biggest tits of all time, and his dad was a fucking football coach. So he told his dad. Well, they made me come back and to the principal's office, and I knew I was going to get my ass beat. So as I was going down the hallway, there was like recycled newspaper. I stuffed it at the back of my pants because I was like, they're for sure gonna spank my ass, but it'll have a loud pop. It'll make them feel bad. Sometimes like people spank your ass when you're a kid and they feel bad.
Okay.
So I did that, and they called my grandpa, and the first thing he said was, check his pants. He likes to put newspaper in there.
Come on, Grandpa.
Yeah, dude, he sold me out, man.
Damn.
Yeah.
So what kind of crazy Arkansas school's still beating kids? I remember like kindergarten, and then the next year my parents didn't have to sign that paper for the paddle, and it sounded like you were up there in age, right?
Yeah, I was in 7th grade.
Seventh grade? That's,
Yeah, they'd spank your ass in high school where I was at, man.
Really?
So, they started doing away with it like probably around like my 9th grade year. People weren't doing that as much, man. So
wow.
Definitely old school shit. It's just people didn't really like know how to raise kids. So the community's all wild, like just old school mentality. My grandpa was born in the 40s, and he adopted me. So like I definitely had a way different time growing up. I felt like I was like constantly like eating old timey ass food and shit. It was wild. But so I was into all that stuff in as a kid, and then at some point you kind of get away from it because like people were making fun of you because you like wrestling, and like, oh, you don't like pussy, dude, shit like that. So and then I started training because I wanted to be a MMA fighter. That was my goal.
Mm-hmm.
And I did that for several years, and I had switched to a gym, and my best friend, he actually was my tag partner. He's not wrestling anymore, but we both were fighters, and he was training under Billy Robinson, who showed up to the gym we were at.
Nice.
Who's an infamous catch wrestling coach straight out of Wigan, England. He trained with like Carl Gotch, and at the Snake Pit, so but he trained Sakuraba and Josh Barnett. He'll train Randy Couture for fights, numerous pro wrestlers, help with Fujiwara, stuff like that. So but he just moved to Arkansas. His son's like a military doctor, and he just came with him to Arkansas. He just showed up and started teaching all the guys catch wrestling. So started learning that stuff. I wouldn't say I'm a catch wrestler by any means. Like I just got to learn from him for a short period of time, and the stories he told really awesome. So like he traveled everywhere. He was one of the only British Empire wrestlers to really like legit go to like he wrestled in Memphis, in the 80s and stuff, and people were notoriously scared of him. There's kind of a bullshit story out there about Billy. Have you seen Tales from the Territory?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, they do the Hawaiian Pacific Pro Wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a story that Peter Montevilla like ripped his eye out or bit his eye out or whatever, Billy's eye, which that did not happen. So Billy he had an accident when he was a kid, and he got hit in the eye and it messed his eye up. So his dad and grandpa were prize fighters. They were boxers. He comes from like a working class background. So he wanted to be a prize fighter, but his eye got messed up when he was a kid. So that's how he got into catch wrestling. So they put him in wrestling because of that. So Peter Montevilla's wife, actually the grandma of The Rock, she made that whole story up. It's a bunch of bullshit. But Billy was feared. He was an enforcer in most locker rooms. He was hired by Vern Gagne to break the guys in training. So like Ric Flair and Iron Sheik and Chris Taylor, those guys were, all trained Vern Gagne's place, but Billy was an assistant coach there, and he would stretch them. And then also in the locker rooms, like he was the guy that like he had to deal with shit. He would beat your ass. He was
right.
he was a legit shooter and a pretty scary dude. You know, like first time I ever did any martial arts where the instructor's like beating you with a cane because you were handling the place. You know,
Okay.
so but he got me back into it, like the history of actual pro wrestling. You know, everybody sees everything as a work, but it used to not be. It was very much like MMA back in the day. So you would have like mixed matches, where you know, like Abraham Lincoln was a catch wrestler. He fought in old barred fights. He fought boxers and stuff like that. So, but it turned into a work because of the mob involvement. You know, they'd fix matches so everybody could make whatever. Then you go to the tabloids next week and tell them, oh, you know, fuck this guy. He's this and that. That's promo.
There you go.
So it builds all this stuff up, and then next thing you know, they're down at the bottom of a pub fighting again, and they're pulling punches and making sure they're not putting holds on tight. They're still, you know, able to go to these towns and work carnivals and things like that. So that history is like kind of forgotten, and so I kind of like to remind people of it and check it out because it's pretty interesting stuff. So then he passed away in 2014, and then really after that, man, I quit doing anything that had to do with any type of grappling for a long time. And then my stepson and I were hanging out 3 years ago, and I was telling him, you can do whatever you want to, man. Put your mind to whatever. And he was like, well, you said you wanted to be a pro wrestler. Why don't you just do it? I said, all right, man. And so I just showed up to a school, dude, and started training.
Nice.
Like the next day, like legit just showed up the next day after we talked. And so it's just basically like got back into, I consider pro wrestling a combat sport, you know, to a great degree, even though we're basically paying homage to violence. So like that basically just came down to me, my son just going, well, you wanted to be a pro wrestler, why don't you do that? So I just did.
There
just
you
showed
go.
up the next day. So
good on you. And you talk about Billy Robinson. Talk about like the right place, right time. That's some of that wrestling magic I talk about. Like that's fate right there, man. Billy Robinson in Arkansas.
Yeah, dude. And he was, you know, he was there pretty for a good bit, man. Like it was crazy. Like the people that would come in, like David Boyd Jr. would come in.
Okay.
Harry Smith, he would come in, and when he would be like in town for WWE, or if he was off, he would just fly in and train. So he would be in that class periodically. And I had no idea it was like, you know, British Bulldog son too. I didn't know who the hell he was because I wasn't watching wrestling back then, you know. So
gotcha.
Didn't realize he was in WWE like while he was coming in and train with us. And then like one day somebody's like, yo, dude, that's British Bulldog's kid. It's like, what the fuck, dude? That's crazy.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And you're talking about how Arkansas doesn't get the love they deserve. I understand. I'm in West Virginia. Ain't nobody talking about West Virginia wrestling. But sell me on the Arkansas scene. What's going on out there nowadays?
Well, so we started a promotion called TACW. Depending on who you ask, it means different things. But I just call it Take a Come Wrestling.
Okay.
But it's known as like Total Action Combat Wrestling or whatever. We had because we started getting interviews by news channels, and we were like, oh, we can't get up there and say Take a Come Wrestling, but that's what we did.
Okay.
So, but there was no place in Arkansas that was like really doing shows that were more like Attitude Era stuff, like more some, you know, comedy, hardcore matches that were like more blood, like death matches. And it really kind of catered to like the punk and metal crowd. So it's at a punk rock venue called Reno's, which is infamous in Arkansas. Like Green Day used to play there in the 90s and stuff before they really popped off. And then we brought that around, and we had the first show we had a death match with Sleazy E and K Toomer, and K Toomer stapled a piece of pizza to Sleazy's head, and it was like the sickest thing ever, you know, and like it got a huge, like it was packed. I mean, they had to turn people away the first show. So, the cool thing was it was like people who weren't really into wrestling. It was like people who were into music. There was some people that were into wrestling. There was like people that were in the restaurant eating and they saw what was going on. They came in. And so we did great. And from then it just kind of had a big, that spot with the pizza took off, and then I talked to Sleazy. I was like, man, I want to do deathmatch. I love it, and so I got to work him my first deathmatch, and so we just kind of that took off, and all these other promotions started popping up, and there was stuff before, but it was like your NASCAR fans that were showing up, and like
right on.
everybody got rebel flag shirts on, and
I know the crowd, believe me.
yeah, just spitting skull on the floor, and then we gave everybody something different, which all that stuff is still cool. Like I like shows like that too, and I work some of them, so. But it was something different, and I think what it did is it not just like for wrestling, it just started a whole different creative outlet for everybody. I mean, in the beginning we had some like death metal bands that would come play on shows and stuff, and
Nice.
all that. But yeah, the scene's super sick. There's like really great wrestlers. I got a buddy named William Blackwell who's like basically Dollar General William Regal.
Okay.
And he's fucking awesome, dude. Like a super technical wrestler, and just unmatched. And then we have Buck Skinner. He's been on GCW.
Okay.
He tags with Rob Shit sometimes, and then
Nice.
K Toomer's been on JCW, and he's making waves. He's been on Reality Wrestling. Of course, we got Sleazy. He's got his own thing going on, Natural State Wrestling, and
Really?
it's popping off, dude. Yeah, we've been able to get some cool opportunities. Yeah.
Hell yeah, no doubt. Yeah, Sleazy's making waves with Natural State. So good. And you mentioned bringing in the punk rock kids and bringing in these new fans into the wrestling scene.
Yeah.
That happened just a couple years ago here in West Virginia. Negative Outlook started up, and I was outside listening to those fans saying, man, I didn't know indie wrestling was like this. I'm coming back. And, because they came to see the bands, and, oh, wow, this wrestling stuff's cool. So how cool is it to make a new fan? I'm sure you've had that feeling.
Yeah, man, it's so crazy. Is like so I'm really close to the punk and death metal and like hardcore scene.
Nice.
And they're so much alike that they don't even know it. It's like, I sometimes I look at matches, and it's like you could take just like a standard WCW match, and it's just like, man, this is like a nice classical music with the orchestra. It's just beautiful.
Gotcha.
Then you take like some Japanese death match, and that's just a death metal song. Like it's like they're writing music out there. They're just writing these different songs. That each match is a different genre. So I love that about it, and I think that when you get people who like those things and they see the thing that they like about music in a performance or in a combat element, it's cool to see everything click from like, oh shit, you can do this with that,
And I'm the first to say wrestling can be anything you want it to be. And, whether it be no ring, whatever, there's still got to be the base there. You can't go too far off. But just tell me some wild stuff, my example of wrestling can be anything you want to be. Because I know you guys are trying new things out there and doing wild shit, so.
Let's see.
Pushing the envelope.
I mean, I think, especially with deathmatch, because it's like the bastard child. It's using a music analogy. I don't know how many times as a kid, like I'd hear somebody go, "This death metal stuff isn't music." Well, it's like deathmatch wrestling isn't wrestling, and so, and sometimes people are right, because like sometimes it is just picking something up and hitting somebody with it, and it kind of takes away from the storyline. So I feel like being able to create a story with that, because what people forget is like you have these cultures like Greece, Spartans, right? They taught their kids how to wrestle before they put a sword in their hand. Okay. So you like need to know how to wrestle if you're going to do deathmatch. So you should be able to like string everything together that you would in a normal wrestling match in a death match. Yeah, because it's one and the same. It's just an extreme version of it.
You still got to have your reasons,
Yeah,
I get it.
Yeah, then like we did a no ring show at this thing. It's called Tom Woods Float. Tom Woods is like the guy who does a lot of art for ICP. He lives in Arkansas, actually.
Okay.
And Sleazy was able to get us on that fest, and we're in this tent, and we're gonna do a no ring match, and right before they do this like juggalette competition.
Okay.
And I never got into ICP or anything like that, but like the juggalos are like really fucking nice people. They're super cool.
Right on.
But yeah, they had these women get up there, and they had different categories, and the second category was talent, and this girl took a 3-liter bottle of Fago and crammed it up her pussy, dude. Like right before we're gonna wrestle. So I was like, dude, we're gonna wrestle?
How do you follow that?
Well, you know who Bull Bronson is? Are you familiar with Bull Bronson?
Okay. Uh-huh.
So me, Bootleg Dave were a tag in that match, and then Bull Bronson and Brian Richards. So we went out there and had this no ring match in the gravel, and like Bull's like fucking blown, like we just were blown away that girl put that thing in her pussy, dude. And then we had to go out there and wrestle, and like, man, yeah, it's crazy. It's like wrestling really is like whatever you want it to be, wherever you want it to be at, like. Yeah, and that match was super sick. Like, I don't think Bull called it. I think he just snatched a bootleg and powerbombed his ass on the gravel, dude. It was like,
oh man,
shit, dude. It was so wild, and Bootleg just got up and just, fucking everybody's back to partying like right after. So.
Oh my, those juggalos, and let it be known, I guess a juggalo. I haven't listened to him in years. Is that even? I don't know. I got a Hatchet Man tattoo, but they're just like the deathmatch community. You got to top yourself every year. They're taking things to extremes. I'm watching videos of the gathering, and I guess these juggalos now, their thing is to show each other their buttholes. Let me see your butthole. And they'll just show their buttholes. Like, that's insane.
Yeah, I am 100% next year. I'm going to that shit, dude. I am going to try out and do whatever. I don't necessarily like the music. Now I do like Ouija Mac. The dude's sick, but
love me some Twisted.
Okay, yeah,
Twisted's good, but they're not on the label anymore. They got like beef with ICP now, so.
Oh, okay.
They got their own label.
know. I like rap. I just never like delved in that territory too much, except for Ouija Mac. But
okay.
The people are so fucking cool and nice. So like, and it's just wild, man. Like seriously, that fest was like, you know how Walmart used to be open 24 hours and you go there at like 2 or 3 in the morning. It's like the wildest people. That's juggalos, dude. Like I mean, they're just super cool, but they're pulling out their assholes.
Yeah, they're going to be who they are. That's why I love them. That's why I adopted the lifestyle. It's just be you,
Yeah, anytime there's anything to do with people being a freak show, I fucking love that shit, man. I just love it. Not even making fun of it, dude. It's just good to be around people who just don't give a fuck. And they're just cool with being who they are and not worried about it,
No doubt. Exactly right. Well, talking about being yourself and everything, give me a career highlight so far. What's been the proudest accomplishment so far in the wrestling business?
Man, this year has been super crazy for me. So I have a couple, dude. I mean, really, like I would say the biggest one is like, being able to be at Tournament of Death and compete in the first inaugural Tarp of Death is probably my biggest accomplishment, even though it hasn't happened yet. I did a deathmatch tournament in Amarillo, the Route 66 deathmatch invitational.
Okay.
I got in the finals. It was 2 days. I wrestled DB Cooper from TFC, won that match. And then the next day I got up and I was in the most insane pain of my fucking life, dude. Like, I don't even know how to explain it. I just felt like I was getting stabbed and like throwing up everywhere and shit.
Ooh.
Everybody thought I overheated, and so they put me in the tub and like giving me cold water and pickle juice and shit, and like trying to get me to whatever. And then it just went away. And then wrestled Chuck Stein, beat him in the semifinals, and then got to the finals with Baracho and Dmitry Alexandrov.
Okay.
And as I'm getting thrown through a panel of glass, that pain comes back in the middle of the match and it's fucking just killing me. Whatever. We get through the match, everything, whatever. I lose. Baracho gains the title because he's a cheating son of a bitch. So yeah, like just fucking did that, and it was awesome because I got to wrestle everybody at that you know, it was like some bucket list dude, you know, Chuck and Dimitri, you know, are bucket list guys for me, and so getting to do that in the same day was cool. So that Monday I came back home and was still in pain, and ended up going to the hospital and had a kidney stone. So I'm just wrestled with a kidney stone the whole time.
Whoa! If it
Yeah,
ain't bad
dude.
enough, you're out there doing a death match tournament with a kidney stone. That kind of
I,
takes the
le-
cake.
I legit thought I was dying, dude. I thought I was dying. It was fucking crazy. So,
Wow! Props to
but yeah,
you.
that's one. And then the matches I had with Bull Bronson uh, at the Tom Woods Flow was super sick, and ended up, you know, like that dude. Yeah, uh, owe him in a great way. He pulled me aside and just kind of told me, he was like, "Listen, man, like stick with this. You got something. You know, where are you training at?" And I was like, "Well, I don't really have a place to train." He was like, "Dude, if you make the drive to Tennessee, let me talk to the guy who trained me." So I trained with Greg Anthony, Golden Boy Greg Anthony. He was tag partners with Bobby Eaton, and you know he's trained with everybody. He's very old school. He fucking hates deathmatch, but he's a really good trainer. So I'm because of Bull, I'm able to go up there and go train. So I'll go up there once or twice a month if I can swing it, and then work with him. And so Bull's just he's been a big push, man, for me. And then yeah, and then Tournament of Death, dude. And then it hasn't been announced yet, but next week it should be. So I'm not really tripping about it. But I'm doing Carnage Cup this
Hell
year. So
yeah!
yeah,
Congrats. Thanks for the scoop.
thanks, man. Yeah,
Congrats. Hell yeah. And you named a lot of great names, and I like the old school training, bringing it to the deathmatch scene. I can only benefit it. It'll bring a different flavor to it because a lot of
yeah,
these guys don't have the old school trainers, so that's cool. But you named a lot of big names, and it kind of puts the deathmatch scene in perspective. We've got a lot of great names out there, man. That's why they can have like 4 or 5 deathmatch cards on the same night and you still have your stars. Give me some folks that you'd like to work with in the next couple years in a perfect world.
in a perfect world, I'm man. My favorite. Uh, well, also, this is another highlight, and they got to work this dude, Nathan Mowry. Got to work him last
Hell
week, and I
yeah.
was fucking sick. That the video of me getting hit with that syringe bat, you know, almost up to 400,000 views or something like that. It's
Hell
crazy.
yeah. Syringe
Um,
bat.
but
God.
it's I'll send it to you, dude. It's wild.
Please do.
Um, then as far as like future matches, man, I mean, my favorite deathmatch wrestler is Slack. I would
Hell
love to
yeah.
wrestle Slack. Matt Tremont, Mickey Knuckles. Man, there's like so many, dude. Uh, Judge Joe Dredd, um, Necro Butcher. I would love to work Necro Butcher. I know he's like people kind of don't like getting punched in the face or whatever, but I'm a weird freak, so I would love to do that shit.
Hell yeah.
And there's just so many. Casanova, Valentine, like me and him talk pretty often. We just haven't met yet, so.
Hell
Uh,
yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah,
there's so
man.
many, dude.
So many. Yeah, I mean, the world's your oyster because, like I say, deathmatch right now, and not just here in America, overseas, they're killing it. Like,
Yeah, dude.
it's a really good time to be a deathmatch fan.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's bring.
Arkansas doesn't have much of that. There's really like a handful of guys flying that flag, you know. So
Same.
uh, it's it's cool to see. There's younger kids that are like starting to, you know, venture out and do deathmatch stuff, and I love it, man. I love that that's happening. So
Yeah, you gotta have the variety, and like I say, especially with deathmatch, it's really bringing in a lot of new fans. With your traditional shows, take the family and everything, and you know to expect. But those deathmatch shows, I really vouch for them because they're bringing in all the new fans. So
yeah, and you know, it's like I I'm weird. I don't really watch modern wrestling that much unless it is like, you know, like GCW and and all the deathmatch stuff. It's
mm,
either that or for me it's the Japanese wrestling and World of Sport, like the British wrestling stuff. But it's like
hell yeah,
total opposite ends of the spectrum was like really technical wrestling, and then deathmatch stuff. So it's like I don't really watch WWE or AEW or anything like that. Not because I don't know. So I just don't like cheeseball shit, man. There's just so much cheesy shit going on in wrestling, and I do not like that. So
Okay.
whenever it's like really well thought, planned out storylines that are really cool, then yeah. But for the most part, I like the super technical stuff where it's almost like they're like actually wrestling, and there's actual stuff in it, or deathmatch where it's like, you know, even with deathmatch, it can get kind of whatever because it's always like the same weapons and stuff. So whenever somebody's bringing something new to the table,
Right.
that's always cool, or they take something that's been used forever and they're able to tell like a really sick story with it and do something different. Like Atticus Cogar does a great job of like just using skewers, and like that's the most like basic thing, but he does such a good job telling a story with those skewers. So,
Speaking of which, it brought to mind Beastman and Jamie Jamison yesterday on VCW, streamed live on YouTube. They had a hell of a no rope barbed wire match, so I want to
oh
recommend
shit.
that to folks. Yeah, Beastman out
Oh, I
here
can check
killing it.
that out.
Yeah, it was a goodie. It was a goodie. This is one I
Yeah.
ask everybody, buddy, and I'm sure you got one for me. A lot of folks flake on this one, but I think you're going to come through.
Okay.
You got a crazy road story for me?
Oh man, I got a couple, dude.
Hell yeah. Finally, somebody with some balls around here.
Let's see. Um, I did a tournament in the one in Amarillo actually,
Okay.
um, and me and a couple dudes were like I'm not gonna say where we were at, but we're in another room and we're just kind of hanging out, and then like this lady's just like up against the wall, but she's like her back's turned away from the room we're in,
Okay.
and there's another girl in front of her on her knees, and I'm like, oh shit, this lady lost her fucking contact. And I get out there, and lady's just chowing down on this girl's butt, like in front of everybody, and it was like Squidbillies, like it was fucking crazy, man. And I was like, dude, holy shit, this is. I mean, because you hear you hear about stuff like that, but I don't ever
I've never.
Arkansas shows that doesn't really happen. So I was kind of just like, holy shit, people are really doing this. So
Deep in the heart of Texas.
yeah, dude.
Terry Funk country, man. They get wild.
Yeah, dude. I actually before that tournament, man, I went to Terry Funk's grave just to kind of
Fuck
get some
yeah.
power. You know what I'm saying?
Fuck
So
yeah. That'll last you a lifetime. One of my all timers right there.
yeah, dude.
You said
Top
you.
five sure.
For sure. You said you had a couple, so if I can squeeze one more out of you, you don't have to incriminate
Um,
nobody, but you said you had a couple. I gotta make up for all these people that flaked on me.
man, I'll tell. Okay, yeah, I'm not gonna get names, dude. So also same place, dude.
Okay.
There was like I'm not into body shaming or anything like that, but there was a pretty big lady,
Mm-hmm.
and one of the wrestlers decided to go into another wrestler's room and was like trying to get a bead from this girl.
Okay.
And, I guess it was about to go down, and the other guy doesn't really particularly care for the guy that's in his room, and so he fucking was like, "Open the door right now." He's like, "Man, just give me a second, dude." He's like, "Get the fuck out of my room!" And then it cracks the door open and sees what's going on, and I just hear him losing his mind, and he was like, "Do I need to have a fucking weight limit for this room?" And I was like, Jesus Christ, man. Yeah, it good times up there, dude. It's something, man.
Hell yeah. Sounds like you're living the dream out there.
Yeah, it's fun, dude. It's a crazy time. Like I said, I love like watching freak show shit. Dude, the fucking Tom Woods float. One of the craziest things I think I've ever seen is 400-pound lady just butt ass naked standing by her tent, and then there's got to be like it's like an 8-year-old boy on a fucking scooter just passes right by her, and it's like neither one of them give a shit about what's going on, and I'm like, this is insane, man. Like,
Wow.
I
Huh.
felt like I was in a third world country village or some shit, but
Well,
with fucking clown makeup and scooters.
wild ass juggalos at it again.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow, man, it's just it's a wild world out there, and it sounds like you being from Arkansas, I'm from West Virginia. We're not used to this sort of thing.
Man, I honestly am kind of used to stuff
Are you?
like seeing wild shit. Yeah, I mean, I just grew up different, so. But I mean, just when you hear about certain things, like certain cultures, like especially juggalos, you're like, there's no way. And then you see like documentaries and stuff, and then um, I go to that float, and I didn't expect it to be like basically it's like a mini gathering. So I just didn't expect it to be that way, and it was fucking, dude. I anytime that they'll have us back, I'm there, man. That's like my favorite thing I've ever wrestled on. It's so fucking sick, man. It's like I've never worked a show where I just didn't sleep. I wrestled, didn't sleep, got up, wrestled again, and
Okay.
just a fucking party, dude,
Yeah.
start to finish. I guess they had been there like 4 days before we showed up, and several people were like, "Yeah, we just hadn't slept." I'm like, "Dude, how the fuck do you do that?" And then, of course, like get there, and I'm like, "Okay, I see now. Like you just can't sleep."
Don't
Like,
have the option.
no, man.
Okay.
Some motherfuckers walking around with like a megaphone's like screaming every time you're trying to go to sleep and shit.
Oh
My
my.
friend Brian, he'll actually be with me at the tournament today. He's my camera guy. Hey, I was like, dude, just blow up this air mattress and like just sleep outside. So he did, and then like the guy's like fucking screaming in a megaphone next to him and shit. Like,
Wow.
yeah.
Okay. Well, I tell you what, you've been in wrestling for a few years. Tell me about the scene and what the changes you've seen for bad, better, for worse, good, bad, the good, bad, and the ugly. Tell me about some changes you've seen along the way.
I I feel like a lot of times in locker rooms, it's changed a little bit over the years. There's been like really closed minded. It's always political. Everybody's trying to get their push or whatever. But here recently, man, it's been pretty like accepting in the locker room for the most part. Like there's not a whole lot of beef.
Good.
If you're getting a beach from somebody with type 2 diabetes in your room and you don't want them in there, but like other than that, man, it's like everybody's so accepting and like super cool for the most part. Even uh, like when I wrestled Chuck, right before that, he sat and talked to me, like gave me pointers and, uh, just kind of gave me different nuances of things that he does. It's like that dude doesn't have to talk to me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
so it's just cool. And he's, you know, super rad dude. He's just like, if you ever make it to Detroit, you got a show, man, you can come stay at my place. Like, so there's been a lot more of that. In the beginning when I first started, it's like you didn't have that. People were just shitheads, man. They just
Really.
they didn't want to fucking be there, or they this person sucks, just whatever. And it's just Arkansas has really gotten way better at like trying to build everybody up, because I think that we kind of know where we're at. Like
Good.
we can't just fight, because you can't just try to pull everybody over, put yourself over and nobody else, because it's like high tides raise all ships, and so it's cool to see that.
That's good. Hell yeah. Well, let me ask you this. You mentioned Chuck Stein, sound like a sweetheart. I've noticed, and not down in the professional wrestling, squared circle deal locker room. Those guys are great, and most of the time, no
Yeah,
problems. I've never been in a locker room, but the deathmatch guys, I've noticed at least, the ones I've interacted with, are just freaking sweethearts. The sweetest
yeah,
people,
dude.
be it the fans, the workers, the cameraman. It's just a sweeter community, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude, like fucking went and watched Eli wrestled Pondo in Memphis, and Tremont was there. Are you familiar with the band Mud Show?
I'm not. Sounds like a good band
They're
though.
like
If they're called Mudsha.
they're a deathmatch themed sludge metal band from Memphis.
Hell yeah.
Shout out Mike Roach. Mike's the front man of that band. He's super sick. He puts on a show in Memphis called Memphis Street Fight, which is where I wrestled Nathan Mowry. But I met Matt Tremont. Matt is the sweetest fucking guy.
Okay.
Pondo's the sweetest fucking guy. Like the guys from Bocce Boys were there. They were cool as fuck. Like just willing to sit and talk to you and like do all that. And you would expect the opposite. So it's really cool to see how open-minded those guys are. Generally, like you say, like just regular like wrestlers, like there's a lot of dudes that are assholes. So
Mm-hmm.
but never had any issues with anybody that does deathmatch. Like, they're always super fucking rad.
Speaking of Pondo, there was one night, I think it was like 11 o'clock at night, I was like, I'd like to get Pondo on the podcast. So I shoot him a message. We're friends on Facebook. I might have talked to him at a show one time 10 years ago, but never, don't know the guy. He's like, yeah, Bubby, let's do it right now. And I'm like, what? This dude's on the road going to a different town and doesn't know me from Adam, and and he's come through for me a couple other times. So hell yeah, Pondo, what a sweet dude.
He's cool. He's going to be at Carnage Cup, and you know, yeah, I'm excited, man. Just that dude's cool. Fucking Neil Diamond Cutter's another guy that's super fucking rad. I never met him, but like when I first started, you know, I was just kind of asking questions, like, because there's not like a whole lot of people to learn from deathmatch stuff in Arkansas, so it just kind of hit him up and was asking him some stuff, and he just immediately replied back and gave me voice clips of him, just like, oh, you need to do this and do it this way, and like, so it's cool. He'll be there. I'll get to meet him, and like, just, you know, there's just so many positive people, you know, and I think that like in the world we live in, it's really great to have that, you know.
No doubt. Speaking of sweethearts, I saw a picture where you had my buddy Will Carroll, and you had a spiked bat against his head. How was that guy to work with?
Man, it was good. You know, we of course have had beef. So that was actually at that Amarillo show.
I did not know. Shit, I wouldn't have brought him up. You've had beef. Okay, well.
Yeah. They got a guy on there. His name's Baracho.
Okay.
He's a Texas Terrifier. So me and him have had back and forth. Another sick match I had this year actually was with Baracho. I don't know if you're familiar with the band Paleface Swiss.
You're throwing all kinds of stuff at me.
They're like a metalcore band from Switzerland.
Okay.
And they came with this band, the hardcore band called Nasty and Stick to Your Guns. They were on tour. So we got to wrestle. We did a no ring match before their set for like 800 people. It was fucking crazy.
Fuck
man.
Yeah.
But, you know, he's a TFC guy. So Will, you know, in the middle of the match is talking, and I didn't even know he was out there, and I hear him, and at first I was like thinking it's Baracho's girlfriend, and I turn around and look, and I'm like, that's your fucking voice, dude? And yeah, and then he ended up like getting in the ring and trying to fucking, you know, interfere with our match, so I had to give it to him. Yeah, I had to give it to him, so. Yeah, pretty cool guy. Just kind of wish that he would fuck off sometimes, but yeah.
I understand. Yeah, he's known to get his hands dirty when he needs to. So hey, man, respect to Will for getting your hands dirty and getting your ass kicked every single show.
Yeah, you know, it's like it's one of those things like a love-hate thing. It's like you want to hate the dude, but he likes good music and fucking is pretty cool. Just voice sucks and likes to get in my way, dude.
But he puts the work in, not just for his guys. I saw where he's editing TV for Fed in New York. So, yeah, man. A lot of guys putting the work in. It's no half-assing it in the deathmatch scene. We've been putting the deathmatch scene over a lot. You say you're working we're calling them the regular shows now.
Yeah.
What are you seeing on those shows? I don't know. Put it over to me. What's going on in the regular scene, I guess?
Right now, I mean, I've done within the last couple months, I've done probably like 3 or 4 just regular standard like wrestling matches. Usually when I go up to Tennessee, when I work with Greg Anthony on his promotion, Pro Wrestling Mid-South, I have to work under a different name because it's more Christian-based wrestling. So they have me wrestle under the name Buddy Robinson.
Okay.
And those matches, like, you know, because I hadn't done them in a while, and then like I was kind of nervous because it was like you get around a group of guys and you're training with them, and they have a different way of training, and you're trying to learn their way, and you kind of suck at it, you know. And so a couple of those matches really fucking suck on my behalf.
Okay.
But that locker room is great, man. But like. Really, there's not too many like deathmatch shows I do. It's just like I'm doing like a deathmatch at a wrestling show where it's just variety. So, yeah, I mean, I really have only had like a handful of bad experiences, man, ever, you know, and like really it's just people talking. There's a lot of dudes that do professional wrestling that don't know how to fight, but they think they do because they do professional. You know what I'm saying? So,
That's what I was going to say. You with the MMA background, I don't think you're going to have too many shitty experiences. I doubt a lot of these guys want to fuck with you.
well, I mean, most people don't anyway. Like, they don't want to fight anyways. They just want to seem like they're tough, you know. And dude, most people who do professional wrestling are fucking tough, like period. But yeah, I ignore that shit because I know better. I mean, I know, and I don't want to fight anybody. I fucking hate that shit, man.
Okay. Well, we're talking about tough guys, and some folks are saying wrestlers aren't tough now because of the Rajah Jackson deal. What's your 2 cents on this?
Well, again, it goes back to know your history. These two things, MMA and pro wrestling, came from catch as catch can wrestling. Those are two things. They're the exact same thing, just different trajectories. Like, you know, Pride Fighting Championships in Japan was started by a pro wrestler,
Yep.
and it was to like solidify that pro wrestling was a legit martial art, and it is. It's just the art of pro wrestling has changed so much that people have forgotten the actual like move sets. They've forgotten how to wrestle. Like, people don't teach it anymore, you know. So I always recommend people check out. There's a documentary. It's called "Catch the Art Not or the Hold Not Taken."
Okay.
It's a documentary, and it gives a pretty good history of like even in America, kind of where working came from, you know. So, but catch wrestling was taught at West Point, you know, in 1900s. So like, and then it just kind of went away. And jiu-jitsu, you know, really got its footing from catch wrestling. The Kimura, the shoulder lock that they use in jiu-jitsu and MMA is actually double wrist lock. Kimura was a professional wrestler, and he went to the Snake Pit, and Carl Gotch submitted him with a double wrist lock and then taught him that. And then Kimura went to Brazil to fight the Gracies, and then he submitted him with the double wrist lock, and then the Gracies called it a Kimura.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Hell yeah, man. You're dropping some knowledge on us today. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. That thing with Roger Jackson's fucking nuts, though. So.
But to play devil's advocate with these folks saying, you know, wrestlers aren't tough guys and everything, there are some guys in the game that I think I could take in a fight, and I'm not a trained worker. So I guess what I'm saying is, how do you take these guys that don't have MMA backgrounds, don't have street fights, and we're talking about how good the locker rooms are now. How do we toughen them up to, you know what I mean? There are those guys you can see and you just know they're not tough.
Yeah, I mean, I don't.
What's the solution? I don't know.
Some people don't have to be tough. I mean, it's like if you're just like not a shitbag, man, they get you a long way. You don't have to worry about anything like that. But sometimes people take advantage of people, you know, and I think it's important to at least like know how to defend yourself, even in a match. Because, you know, some people want to put themselves over and they're going to throw everything out the window. They could give a fuck about the match. They just want to look good and see if you'll take it, you know. And so you need to be able to take control of that situation in a way that's professional, of course, but like not hurt anybody, but just like let them know. And then if it comes down to that, then you take care of it in the locker room.
There you go. Yeah, like you can't use a closed fist in a match, but you know, do what you got to do to let the guy know.
Yeah. You know, I think that that's important. I feel like you really should be learning some type of like actual holds, but again, it's so hard to find that now because people are trained in that.
Well, it was good timing because we're rolling into the final 10 minutes of the podcast anyway. So in the final 10, I ask everybody, buddy, any upcoming shows that you want to promote, let them know the location, dates, all that stuff, merch, if there's any advice to up-and-coming wrestlers, up-and-coming talent, anything you want to get off your chest, any of those things, etc., anything you haven't mentioned yet, whatever you want to get off your chest, my platform is yours, sir. Have it.
Let's see. Well, I'm actually since I'm gonna be at CZW, the show that I'm part of in Little Rock is doing a show at Vino's on the 6th, And it's got it's stacked, man. It's got some great talent. Buck Skinner's on it. We've got K Toomer. It's awesome. So if you're in that area, please go to that. It's super rad. And then October 4th, I'll be in Brookport, Illinois for Mayhem Pro. I'm doing a gusset plate match with Bull Bronson. Yeah, this will be our third time to wrestle each other. So I'm gonna beat his ass, and then I think December 13th also would be. It's also the same Mayhem Pro Wrestling. I don't know who I'm wrestling at that yet, and then of course Carnage Cup is the October 24th, 25th, and 26th. I'll be there. That's in Tennessee. Yeah, and then as far as merch goes, I'm actually about to get some shirts made, so I'll put pre-orders up for that. So if anybody wants to follow me on social media, it's just Buddy Badcock. I'll do pre-orders and I'll have some extra ones made. So if you want one, just pay for the shirt, shipping and handling. I'll send it out. I'm trying to think of what else, man. That's really it, man. I've just been plugging away and staying busy, dude, and it's been good times. So.
Yeah, man, you've really got some momentum right now. You got some big shows coming up, and good on you. Good on you, man.
Yeah, I'm super grateful for the opportunities I'm getting. So I can't thank the people enough who share my videos or put in a good word for me or put me over to promoters and trainers or whoever. It's been a blessing, dude. So, but yeah.
No doubt. Okay. Well, we still got some more time. We've talked a lot of deathmatch wrestling. I'm sure this will go in a lot of the deathmatch groups. There's a lot of crazy stuff in deathmatch wrestling. The syringes. I couldn't do any of this stuff. Is there anywhere we draw the line? Like, man, that's just that. I ain't trying to do that, or something you would be uncomfortable with, but still do, I guess.
Razor wire. I don't want to fuck with that.
Okay.
I just, I see people, it's like with their ears are just almost getting cut off and shit. There's one Carnage Cup, a dude gets his finger cut off. I don't want my finger cut off.
No.
Fuck that, dude. There's not much I'll say no to, unless it's just absolutely bananas.
Right.
You could die. I don't, even though it is deathmatch, somebody should die, but
we want another show out of you, We want to see you die again.
yeah. I'll just come back,
There you go.
I'll just start a religion, man.
Well, hey, that's a good segue. We're in spooky season. It's Halloween's around the corner. You going to dress up for Halloween? Any big plans for Halloween? What are we going to do this year?
My friend is getting married on Halloween, so I'm going to go to that, and then I don't think I don't know. Last time I just dressed up in scrubs, and I made a sign that said "Sick of these hoes" on it.
Nice.
That's what I did last year. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know if I'm going to dress up or not. It depends on his wedding. If his wedding is going to be cool like that.
Gotcha.
But yeah. So.
Okay. Hell yeah. It's cool, folks, if they're having a wedding on Halloween. So. Hell yeah, man. Well, it's been an awesome podcast. I definitely appreciate you joining me. I'll give you any final thoughts, anything else you want to put out there before we wrap this bad boy up? Anything you want to say to the fans at home?
Man, honestly, I think the best thing I could say is if you guys want to do something, it is as simple as just fucking doing it. You put in the work. That's period. It doesn't matter what it is. There's going to be times where you're going to be discouraged. You just push through that shit and just do it. You can let the demons of doubt kind of fucking dictate how your path goes, or you can just do it. And if it takes you 10 years to do something you want to do, then it takes you 10 years. But if it takes you 10 years to think about it and you don't fucking do anything, then what's the point of being here? So it's that's really it. I think people need to believe in themselves a little bit more, and so just try to go for it, man. Whatever it is, just go for it.
Thank you for that, because that's something I'm always drilling into them, because I'm living proof. You're living proof, man. Like, you're doing big things right now, and you're putting the work in, so props to you.
Thanks, man. Yeah.
You're welcome. Well, I'll tell you what, I will ask you to hang on the line with me, sir, and to the listeners at home, this is why we do it. Great people doing great work, people living their dreams. We wish you the best with everything coming up, Mr. Badcock. To the listeners at home, you know how we do. Treat each other with kindness and respect. Don't take no shit from nobody. Stand on business. Be the best you can be. Hang with us on the Roni. We got action coming up from PWL every day this week. More crazy-ass interviews, all kinds of content. The Roni's on a roll, and I thank you for that. Spooky Lou loves you. We're out of here.